Happy midweek, family. Once again, I am Brother Judah Israel, and I have another message for the listening ears of Yah's people. So, first, I'd just like to give honor to our Most High Father Yahuwah, the Ruach HaKodesh, and our Messiah, Yahusha HaMashiach. And family, the title of this message will be called Yah chose Israel to be his sanctified, set-apart people. Yes, he did. And he started our nation with our ancestor Abraham. And we know that Abraham begot Isaac, and Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob's name was changed to Israel. So Abraham being the first Hebrew according to scriptures, and Jacob being the first Israelite. So we, the offspring, are all Hebrew Israelites because of our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So family, what makes us set apart from the rest of the nations in the world is that Yah told us to keep his 10 commandments. We were chosen out of all the people on the face of the earth by Yah to be his sanctified, set apart people, to keep his 10 commandments. Okay, family, so I know for a time our people fell off and we got placed under the curses and we became the tail and all the nations rose above us and became the head. So now in these latter times, our Father has turned back to us by giving us his Ruach, the Holy Spirit. And now he has begun to awaken his chosen people once again. And so all of us who are awakened, we must keep his 10 commandments. We are his set apart people. We have suffered the curses of the punishment, okay, because our people failed to keep his laws, statutes, and his 10 commandments. That's what caused our people to be placed under the curses, placed at the tail. And of course, they was doing some other stuff, worshiping false gods and doing all kind of other sinful things. But now we're in the latter times, and our Father has turned back to us by giving us the Ruach. So we must, family, keep his 10 commandments. We are still his set apart people. So please, family, as always, I like to say, start by saying, keep the 10 commandments found in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. And I'll start reading from the book of Jubilees, chapter 2, verses 19 and 21. And it says here, and he said to us, behold, I will separate a people to myself from among all the peoples, and these will keep the Sabbath day, and I will sanctify them to myself as my people, and will bless them as I have sanctified the Sabbath day, and sanctified it to myself. Even so will I bless them, and they will be my people, and I will be their Elohim. And I have chosen the seed of Jacob from among all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son, and have sanctified him to myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Sabbath day, that they may keep Sabbath thereon from all work. And thus he created therein a sign in accordance with which they should keep Sabbath with us on the seventh day, to eat and to drink and to bless him who has created all things. And he blessed and sanctified himself to a peculiar people above all people, and that they should keep the Sabbath together with us. See, we are to keep the Sabbath with our Father Yahuwah and those who are in heaven. This is what sanctifies us from all the rest of the people. So, family, we must keep his 10 commandments, those of us who are awakened. We know when we fell under the curses, you know, Constantine Christians, or you say Roman Christians, started a religion, okay? And they taught a lot of our people who assimilated into that religion that don't keep the 10 commandments. Don't follow the way of the Yahudim, the Jews, the Judah, from the tribe of Judah. A lot of our people had ended up in Europe because Rome had attacked Israel in 70 AD. And that's when the nation of Israel was destroyed. And our people started being scattered around the world. the northern 10 tribes were scattered already by the Assyrians. But when this religion was started by Constantine, a lot of our people assimilated into it, and they were taught not to keep the 10 commandments. Okay? Contrary to what our Father has told our people to do from generation to generation, and that is keep the commandments. So a lot of our people are still stuck in these religions and are not keeping Yah's 10 commandments. But those of us who are awakened, we must keep Yah's 10 commandments, family. Okay, from here I'll be going over to the book of Matthew, chapter 15. So from the beginning, the nation of our people were told to keep Yah's 10 commandments because he set apart a people to himself to keep his 10 commandments, just as they do in heaven. So now I'll be going over to the 66 in the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 24. And our Messiah is speaking here. And he said, Matthew chapter 15, verse 24, but he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So he stayed with protocol. The chosen people of the Father are the Israelites. And so when the Messiah came to this earth as a man, he told the people, but he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. They were called lost sheep then because the Assyrians had scattered the northern 10 tribes into a lot of nations. And so he was coming to let them know, okay, that they are still to keep the Father's 10 commandments, okay. From here I'll be going over to the book of 1 Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 4 to 5. Also, as we finally keep the 10 commandments of our Father Yahuwah, he want to make sure that we are distinguished from the other nations, so we are not to be doing the things that they are doing. Okay, family? 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 4 to 5. That every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor, not in the lust of concupiscence, even as the Gentiles which know not Elohim. Concupiscence, that's strong sexual desire. That's what that is. He don't want us being like the Gentiles who do these things. Okay, so if we did it once before, now that we are awakened, okay, in these last days, he has given us the Ruach back, and he has turned back to us. So he don't want us doing the things that the heathen nations are doing. Strong, lustful sexual desires and stuff like that. He wants us to be his holy people, okay? And it's going to pay off for us if we are obedient to our Father. Okay, as I continue. Now I'll be going over to the book of 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 1 to 5 verse, and then I'll be reading 7 to 9, and then verses 18 and 19. Okay, first I'll be reading at 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 1 to 5, and it says here, for as much then as Christ had suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise in the same mind, for he that had suffered in the flesh had ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Elohim. For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries, wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them in the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you, who shall give account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead. See, it says here in verse 4, wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. Just recently, last month on the 20th, we who are awakened, we keep Yah's 10 commandments, and we need to not do what the heathen nations are doing. So, since I am awakened, and on my job, they had a Christmas party on the 20th of December. And So they gave us extra 15 minutes for lunch, so the lunch was 45 minutes there, So I went in my car and until the time was up, and I went back in, and a couple of my coworkers were saying to me, "Where were you? We were looking for you. Did you get your gift?" I say, I told you guys I don't celebrate holidays. When I first got hired a year ago, so I just completed my year on the 28th of last month. But anyway, I still remember when I got hired, December of 2023, I was talking to the president of the company. His son is one of the managers. And I think just a few days, maybe a week after I had gotten hired, I got hired on the 26th of December 2023. So one of the managers and I were talking, and he asked me, did you have a good holiday? I said, to be honest with you, Ryan, I don't celebrate holidays no more. I just told him right out the gate, and see, when you be honest with people, they will respect you, So he said, okay, well, that's fine, So, and as the year went, and sometimes getting to know different co-workers and stuff like that, and like when the holidays start coming around, what do you plan to do on the 4th of July? I just let them all know I don't celebrate holidays. Thanksgiving, same thing with people, what are you going to do for the Thanksgiving holiday? I don't celebrate holidays. So I just let all the people know, no disrespect to anybody else who keep the stuff. A lot of people in my family still keep holidays and stuff like that, but I don't celebrate with them, but I still love them. So I'm not going to turn around and celebrate holidays with my coworkers, and I don't even do that with my own family. So, still have love for my family, still have love for people, but I just want to be obedient to my Father and not do certain things that I used to in time past, once upon a time did. But another thing, when I was going to get an oil change, December 24th last year, and my mechanics, they're Hamites, they're from Ethiopia. And one of them asked me, you work tomorrow? I said, nah, we off. He said, do you celebrate Christmas? And they had asked me that before, because they've been my mechanics since 2012. I said, nah, man, I'm not into that stuff no more. And he said, you used to? I said, when I was still asleep, years ago. But since 2017, I haven't celebrated any holidays, And I said, yeah, once upon a time, I used to keep those days. I used to honor those days and stuff, but that's when I was still asleep. But now I'm awake since these last 7 years, and I don't keep holidays. He said, well, brother, we respect you for that, and we started talking a little bit about the Ethiopian Bible and stuff like that. I was like, it's all been a deception by the colonizers. He's like, I know. And so we just left it alone. They know the truth. I know the truth. So that's what our Father wants us to do. Be obedient to what he told his chosen people to do. Recognize the 10 commandments, but don't be like the heathen, keeping pagan days. Okay, so now I'll be reading verse 7 to 9. It says here, but the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer, and above all things have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. So our Father is saying here in his word, he wants us to be charitable to one another. Have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover a multitude of sin. Okay, so this is one of the things he wants us to do. Okay, not be stingy, but share what you have to those who are in need. Okay, verses 18 and 19 says here, and if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of Elohim commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing and unto a faithful creator. So he wants us to be committed to keeping our souls to him in well-doing. He wants us doing what is right, well-doing. Okay, so our works does matter. And it says here, wherefore, verse 19, wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of Elohim commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing as unto a faithful creator. Okay, so we must keep ourselves in well-doing. Okay, committed to our Elohim in well-doing to one another. Okay, family, this message shouldn't be too long, so I'll be going from here to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10. Jeremiah chapter 10. Okay, family, Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2 and 3. It says here, thus saith the Adonai, learn not the way of the heathen, that's nations, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. Okay, the customs of the people are vain. And it goes on to say, one cut a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe. It's talking about Christmas and stuff like that. You know, it says, thus says the Adonai, learn not the way of the heathen. Okay, once upon a time we did those things. But when he awakened us to our true identity, we are Hebrew Israelites, his chosen people, set apart from all the other people on the earth. You know, he set us apart. So he don't want us doing the customs of the nations. You know, he wants us to keep his 10 commandments and have charity toward one another and be well-doing, committed to well-doing toward one another. Okay, family? So let's not continue to keep the customs of the heathen, you know, by keeping up with holidays and stuff like that, you know. And like I say, since 2017, you know, I was on Facebook then, and I just made a post, and I said when I started walking into the truth of who I am as a person, a Hebrew Israelite, and I made a post, and I said, you know, no love lost to my family or my friends from way back, and even my new friends. I say, but as of right now, you know, I no longer keep holidays. I don't even celebrate my birthday or nothing like that, you know. And I said, you know, no love lost. But as of right now, 2017 family, I don't keep holidays no more and stuff like that. So please don't text me happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and text me and calling me and stuff like that like we used to do. So over time, my people, you know, they started, you know, honoring and respecting my decision. I still love them. And I pray that someday that they come into keeping the commandments, you know, but that's, you know, that's up to Yah, you know, but they know that we are Hebrew Israelites. But it's just hard for some people to let go of the traditions that they've always kept, you know, the customs of the heathen. Okay, but I let it all go, okay? And, you know, like I said, I let my co-workers know that I don't keep holidays and stuff like that, and they give me respect, you know, and I respect them. You know, that's your decision to do that. Okay, that's what you do. Okay, I keep the 10 commandments, you know, respect what I do. This is what I do. I'm trying to please my Father. Okay, so from here I'll be going over to the New Testament. Oh, no, not the New Testament, but the Testament of Joseph. I have a little bit to read out of here. The Testament of Joseph. We're talking about Yah chose Israel to be his sanctified, set-apart people. And what sanctifies us and make us holy and sanctified is keeping his 10 commandments. Okay? Testament of Joseph, chapter 17, verse 3 here. And it says, for Elohim delights in the unity of brothers and in the purpose of a heart that takes pleasure in love. So he wants us, you know, being delighted in our brethren, you know, and in the purpose of that takes pleasure in love. He wants us walking in love toward each other, family. That's what he's saying here. Okay, going down to chapter 18, verse 1 and 2, and it says, therefore, if you also walk in the commandments of the Adonai, my children, he will exalt you there and will bless you with good things forever and ever. And if anyone seeks to do evil to you, do well to him and pray for him, and you will be redeemed of the Adonai from all evil. So if somebody do you wrong, it says do good to that person. And if anyone seeks to do evil to you, it says do well to him and pray for that person, even though they have done something wrong to you. So this is the conduct that our Father wants his children to carry ourselves in. You can't do it in your flesh. We have to walk in the Spirit. You know, we have to have the Ruach to be able to do what Yah has asked us to do. We can't do it in our flesh. Flesh, you know, will fly up the handle. Flesh is always having an attitude. And flesh said, okay, you do this to me, I'm going to do the same thing to you. That's flesh. That's the carnal nature. But no, he wants us to rise above that carnal nature, because the book of Rome, in the book of Romans, it says, you know, the way of carnality is the way of death, but the way of the Spirit, which having the Ruach, is the way of eternal life. Okay, so that's what we want, family. Okay. Now I'll be going over to Testament of Benjamin. The Testament of Benjamin, chapter 7, verse 5. It says here, because those who are like Cain in envy and hatred of brothers will be punished with the same judgment forever. Jumping down to chapter 8, verse 1 and 2, it says, and you, my children, must flee evildoing, envy, hatred of brothers, and cleave to goodness and love. He that has a pure mind in love does not look after a woman with a view to fornication, for he has no defilement in his heart, because the Spirit of Elohim rests on him. You hear that, family? You hear that? He that has a pure mind in love does not look after a woman with a view of fornication, for he has no defilement in his heart, because the Spirit of Elohim rests on him. And I know exactly what that's talking about, because once upon a time I had, you know, that spirit of fornication on me, and that's how I looked on women that appealed to me physically. But since I don't have that spirit of fornication anymore, but I have the Ruach, the Spirit of Yah resting on me, I don't look to women with the view of fornication in my mind no more. For he has no defilement in his heart, because the Spirit of Elohim rests on him. I couldn't get rid of the spirit. In fact, when I was carrying on in that other manner, I didn't know I had no spirit. We don't know we got no spirit of fornication. But everything is in the spirit realm. That's what moves us in this physical realm, family. Okay, so I thank Yah for his mercy that he has delivered many of us from those spirits that was leading us to hell and doing those things that Yah was against, and gave us his Ruach, and now the Ruach rests on us, okay? And we do those things that are pleasing to our Father. Praise Yah. To Yah be the glory, the honor, and the praise. Okay, going down to chapter 10, I'll be reading some excerpts. Verse 4 says, for I leave you these things instead of an inheritance, therefore you must also give them to your children for an everlasting possession. For so did both Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. For they gave us all these things for an inheritance, saying, keep the commandments of Elohim until the Adonai will reveal his salvation to all nations. Jumping down to verse 11, it says, if you therefore, my children, walk in holiness according to the commandments of the Adonai, you will again dwell securely with me, and all Israel will be gathered to the Adonai. See, if we keep these commandments, we all eventually will be gathered from all the nations and islands on this earth. So when our people were told to keep the commandments way back during the days of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, okay, this was to carry on down to every generation, until the second coming of our Messiah. Okay, so we're going to be blessed if we are obedient to our Father. And I've tried things my way, and it caused me to fall under a lot of curses, doing things my way. So I made up my mind years ago, I'm done with that. I'm going to give Yah's word a chance in my life, because the way I was doing things myself, I always ended up in trouble, being led by the carnal nature. I didn't know that it was spirits leading me to. Just a life of trouble. One incident after another. But you don't know you be led by spirits. So I'm no longer being led by those spirits, but I didn't come to the knowledge of all that until I gave Yah's way a chance. And all the knowledge that we need to know is in his word, family. Christ says that he came to give us life and life more abundantly. He wasn't talking about materialistic things. He was talking about life more abundantly and the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of his Father's word. We are his chosen people to be sanctified and set apart from all other people by keeping his 10 commandments. This is what causes us to be holy people and set apart, keeping his 10 commandments. And as we stay in his word, we learn more and more. And by his ruach that he gives us, he leads us into more understanding, wisdom, and knowledge of his word. That's the life of abundance that our Messiah was talking about. But you go to these Sunday churches, a lot of them like Creflo Dollar and T.D. Jakes and a lot of these people, the prosperity gospels and stuff like that, they're all about material stuff. That's what their gospel is all about. It is not gospel, that's what they call it. But that's what their teaching is all about. Prosperity stuff in this world, material stuff. Having mansions, having jets. You know what I'm saying? But the pleasure of this world is all they are concerned about. They're not teaching their people right. But, be that as it may, as it may, to each their own. But I want to follow the way of my Father's words and keep his commandments and see that he is true to his word. He said if we keep his commandments, we will be blessed where we are. So doesn't mean that we're going to have all kind of material possessions and stuff like that, but abundance of wisdom and knowledge and understanding of his words. Okay, family, from here I'll be moving on to, back to the 66. Please, family, be sure to keep Yah's 10 commandments found in the book of Exodus chapter 20, verse 1 through 17. This is what he wants us to do. Okay. Now I'll be going to Matthew chapter 5, verse 19. Matthew chapter 5, verse 19. And it says here, 19 and 20. Okay. Our Messiah is saying this, Yahushua Mashiach. Whosoever therefore shall break one of the least of these commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. So family, a lot of these people in these religions, they try to confuse people's minds, and they say, the law is done away with. When the word of Yah speaks about something specifically, it's letting you know exactly so you won't be mistaken about what he's talking about. Like, say, for instance, it says, circumcision is nothing, uncircumcision is nothing. That's cut and dry. Circumcision is nothing. Uncircumcision is nothing. That's what it's saying about that. But if it's telling you that certain parts of the law are not to be, like you hear some people say, oh, the law is done away with. But nowhere in the scriptures, the 66 or this other higher learning scripture, will you ever find any parts of Yah's word saying that the 10 commandments is nothing. You will never hear him say that in his word. In his word, you'll find in many places, in many books, he says, keep my commandments. John chapter 14, verse 15. Our Messiah says, if you love me, keep my commandments. He does not contradict himself. People with other agendas, they try to contradict Yah's word, by being deceptive and keeping you from doing what Yah told you to do. It was all systematically done to keep us from being blessed by our source, our Father Yahuwah. When we fell under the curses, we in a zombie state of mind. So they got hold to our word, these nations that were risen above us, because our people fell under the curses because of disobedience. And they studied the word and told our people, no, don't keep the commandments. See, they know that's what we need to do to keep our Father to blessing us, to keep us being on top of them. So it was done as a deception to tell our people, no, don't keep the 10 commandments. But if you read all of Yah's word yourself, nowhere in Yah's word does it say, don't keep his 10 commandments. It's quite the contrary. It's always saying to his people, his chosen people, keep the commandments, all through his scriptures. But if you continue to go to places on Sunday, a false Sabbath, and listen at these people stand before you and just talk, they don't read the Bible word for word, line upon line, here a little, there a little. They'll read a verse and just talk for about an hour. And you swear you done had some church, But that's all a deception to keep you blind, okay? But for us who are the remnant, who Yah has awakened to our true identity, family, let's just continue to keep Yah's 10 commandments so we can please our Father, so he can bless us. Okay, we ain't trying to please no nations. We ain't trying to be like the heathen and please them. We're trying to please our Father. That's what we should be trying to do. Okay, family, in closing, it says here in the book of Psalms chapter 47, verse 19 and 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Adonai. See, he hath not dealt so with any other nation. So when I see these Gentiles and these vassals and Edomites trying to teach Yah's word, it wasn't given to them. All of this word was given to his people. But if you're still asleep and you look to them for leadership, you're always going to be deceived. Okay? You're always going to be deceived. People like John Hagee, all those people, you know what I'm saying? They try to line up our scriptures with the fake people in Israel calling themselves Jews. Don't be deceived, people. The word of Yah says, study to show thyself approved of Elohim. We need to get in this word and study it ourselves so we won't be deceived by these mega pastors and stuff like that. And see, a lot of people are impressed with their mansions and their jets. They're impressed because these people they're collecting all of their money and buying all these luxurious items and stuff like that. And even the word of Yah is against living in luxury and pleasure all the time. So it's totally a big deception. But if you don't read and study Yah's word, it's easy to be deceived, family. So with that, I'll just close and say, family, this has been Yah chose Israel to be his sanctified, set-apart people. I hope you got some understanding, family. So I'm Brother Judah Israel. So until next time, may Yah bless you and your families. Stay safe and shalom.